So it's good to see everybody. Thanks for coming out and just wrapping up the Notre Dame game. Like I said, Saturday after the game, we didn't play well. You know, and really we got outplayed in every facet of the game. You know, we didn't play well on offense. You know, we ran the ball well, but we didn't throw it well. We didn't protect well. And you know, defensively, we gave up too many big plays and too many yards. And I think they had 4 consecutive drives on each half that they scored touchdowns. And our special teams had played so well this year, and even that aspect of the game, I thought Notre Dame outplayed us. And you know, so we got beat, and we got beat bad. And it was a great opportunity for us. And once again, I want to thank all of our fans for showing up. We had a great crowd, a great atmosphere, and you know, those are great opportunities that unfortunately we didn't take advantage of, and we got beat. But it's one game. We're looking to rebound this week against Rice. There's a lot of things that we've got to get fixed, and we're working hard at fixing them. And I've certainly been in seasons before that you have issues and you get them corrected and you end up having really good seasons. And that's what our goal is this year. I think we have a good football team. I know we have kids that care. And there's some things that are fixable that we've got to get fixed. Rice comes in here as a program with a new head coach. Coach Bloomgren did a great job as the offensive coordinator at Stanford and was one of those hot coaches on the rise. And you know, Rice hired a very good football coach. So offensively, they're very well thought out. You know, they do a lot of different things with a lot of different personnel groups. They're very tricky. If you ever watch Stanford on film, all the things they do with fullbacks and tight ends and wings, and it makes fitting the runs very difficult. And they know exactly what they're doing. They know what surfaces they're trying to create. They know where they want the ball to go. To me, they have 2 backs, Asupa and Walter, that I think could both play in the ACC. These guys are big, physical. Walter's a game breaker as a kick returner as well. These are 2 excellent backs. The offensive line is big and physical. They have an experienced quarterback, graduate transfer from Vanderbilt. And on defense, they're very multiple. They are exceptional on the special teams. In every Conference USA ranking, their units are up there. So Pete Lembo, who I know well, is their special teams coordinator. And you know, every aspect of special teams, their PAT field goal unit, they've run 2 muddle huddles for 2-point conversions, and their field goal block, they go hard, and their punt protection is well thought out. They do a great job on punt block, punt return. Their kickoff return is one of the best in the country. And so they create a lot of hidden yards for themselves. So, you know, we've got to fix us. And, you know, to me, Rice is certainly capable of coming in here and beating us if we don't get our problems fixed. So we got to focus on Wake Forest this week. And, you know, from there, I'll take questions.
Without a defensive coordinator, at least for this week, I don't know if your plans are to elevate to somebody to that in the future. But
well, let me address that. That, you know, it's not like our defense is without leadership. Okay, that, you know, I'm not giving somebody the title, you know, but Tom Gilmore is going to coach the Rovers, and then really right now, you know, Dave Cohen has been in that meeting room for 5 years, and Lyle Hemphill coordinated this exact defense for many years at Stony Brook. Okay, so those 2 are really running the bulk of things. So, you know, Dave and Lyle are running the meetings. Those 2 have worked together before. Lyle worked for Dave when Dave was the head coach at Hofstra. You know, Mike Elko was the defensive coordinator. Dave was the head coach. Lyle was the secondary coach. They're both very, very familiar with our defensive system. They've spent many years in it. They've both coordinated it. And those 2 have a great working relationship. And, you know, so those 2 are running the meetings. And, you know, I'm not designating the title. I'm just kind of giving everybody what their role and their responsibility is, you know, but it's not a free-for-all in there. There's, you know, without getting into details, there's a structure to what we're doing and an order to how we're doing it, and there are decision makers.
You hinted at this in your opening. the expectations of where this season could still go. I take it you don't make a move like the one that you made on Sunday without the expectation that things can be a lot better on defense?
No, I mean, you know, you don't make a decision like this after one game or 2 games or a month. You know, this has been an evaluation of the last year and a half. And I've evaluated our defense, and I just don't feel it was up to the standard. And you look for certain things to get better, and when they don't get better, at times as a head coach you have to make hard decisions. I mean, this is not a decision a head coach ever wants to make, whether at the end of the season or mid-season. But you got to do what you feel is best for your program at that moment. And you know, so I think this is the decision that's best for our football team, you know, for this week, this month, and this season. And but you know, it's a hard decision, and especially hard when the person involved is such a good person. I mean, this is nothing other than the evaluation of our defense. There's nothing off the field. Coach Savell is a good man. He worked extremely hard and had a great work ethic, and the kids liked him, and it wasn't getting better.
Coach, I remember towards the end of year 3 when the offense was still showing improvement, but kind of gradual improvement. We talked about Coach Ruggiero and the lack of great progress in the offense. And you talked about 3 or 4 steps you were wanting the offense to take. You know, that maybe necessarily what we were seeing wasn't necessarily the full picture because you had things you wanted to see from the offense and those things were being accomplished. That being said, were there things on the defense that you were specifically wanted to see accomplished here that just weren't getting done?
Yes. I mean, yes. I mean, you know, when Coach Elko was the defensive coordinator at Bowling Green for 3 years, we didn't play good defense. But I saw progressions and individual improvement and less missed assignments. And, you know, there's times that you can do everything right and you get beat by a matchup. And those are things as a head coach you can live with. You know, if the person is in the right spot and has their eyes in the right place and they get beat because the matchup favored the other team and the guy couldn't get it done, then that's a recruiting issue and that's a talent issue. You know, when you're not aligned and you're not in the right place and your eyes aren't, you know, when you don't see those type of improvements, you know, those are the ones that, you know, if those things get better, then you stay the course. And those are some of the things that weren't improving. And again, it wasn't for a lack of work or a lack of care. You know, he worked extremely hard, you know, and I just think with all that work, we just kind of got to a place that the defense wasn't recognizable. And, you know, we just, I think, have to get back to playing defense. And this, you know, decisions like this don't fix things instantly. I mean, if there's an expectation from you guys or our players or our fan base that, you know, we have other issues, okay? But we have to take that step of starting to correct those issues. And I felt that this was a necessary step to try to get those things corrected.
Would you say that he took the result as a surprise, or did he kind of see things coming?
You know, I think, you know, that was a conversation Coach Savell and I had, and it's best to keep that between us. But I'll just say it again. I mean, he is a good man and a good coach and worked extremely hard, and I have great respect for Coach Savell as a person, as a coach. There was nothing beyond what I'm telling you. There's nothing that's going to pop out here in a few months that say, oh, that's why they did it. I mean, it just very simply, it was a 1.5 year evaluation of where we were and where we were going, and we were not evolving in the way that I wanted to see us evolve. And it wasn't just about the results. It was about the process of how we were going to get those results.
When did you make the decision? Was it Saturday night? You sleep on it?
Yeah, I mean, it was, you know, I had concerns after the BC game, and was hoping to see improvement in certain areas. And then just after I watched the Notre Dame film, I slept on it and just wanted to, you know, I think with decisions like this, you want to make sure they're not emotional. And again, every decision I make, it's simply, is it best for our team and our program?
When and how did you tell the players? How did they receive it?
I met with the entire team on Sunday before the release and let them know what happened.
And how did they receive it?
I mean, our kids are great kids. I mean, they like Coach Savell. I think they felt for him. You know, but I think it was, where are we going to go from here? And the tone of the meeting was, you know, we all have to do better, myself included. And again, this isn't one person. That there was a lot of problems that we had on that film. Some of it, obviously, I felt involved coaching. Some of it involves players. And it's on all of us to get it fixed. And there's got to be a sense of urgency to fix it, but the message was, you make a move like this during the season because you're not giving up on the season. You know, that to me, if I knew I was going to do this, there was no sense in waiting. If we have a chance to fix things now and make things better now and still have a good football team this season and have a good year, I just felt I owed it to our football team to make this move now rather than wait.
You mentioned all the coaches involved in how there's a structure to how everything's moving, but did you also pull a couple of players aside, like, hey, I need you guys to help me spread this message in this way, and then maybe you're leaning on them a little bit? Does that also happen?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, this is not a one-person issue. This is, you know, we need to coach better. We need to prepare our players better. The players need to prepare better. They need to play with more effort. They need to be more detailed with their assignments, their alignments, with their eye discipline. Again, there's certain plays that you maybe give up because a guy gets beat. You know, if you put a guy in press man coverage and they throw a jump ball and the guy beats him for the throw, those plays are going to happen. It's the plays that develop and become big plays because you're not properly aligned or your eyes aren't in the right place, that to me are just free yards. And when you play a team like Notre Dame, if you do everything right, it's hard to defend them. But then if you give them a bunch of easy plays because you're not aligned correctly or your eyes aren't in the right spot, you know, those are problems that all of us have to fix. And I'm the head coach. I'm responsible for everything. So what happened on Saturday is that's under my watch as the head coach. And my job is, when you have problems, that we got to fix them. And so we're taking every step we can to try to fix the problem so we can play better football this year.
Notice Kendall Hinton is no longer on the quarterback depth chart, but he's shown up as the backup slot to Greg Dortch. Did he show you something Saturday that reaffirms your thought that he can make an impact with some explosive plays?
I mean, Kendall's going to play a bunch of places less. I mean, where he shows up on a depth chart, I wouldn't read into that. You know, I mean, we played him as a kick returner. We played him as a slot. We threw bubbles to him. We threw slants to him. We put him in as a quarterback. You know, if you want me to, for you guys, if you want me to list him in 2 or 3 different places, I'll do that. It was just, you know, I mean, Kendall's a guy that's, I mean, there's nothing he showed us we didn't know. We already knew that he was very elusive and had great ball skills, and he showed that. So it's exciting for us to get a playmaker back, and, you know, we just got to figure out every week the best way to use him.
It might change from week to week.
Could change from week to week. Could change from series to series. And I'm not saying that to be coy. I mean, you know, when he went in there at quarterback and ran that play, it's not like that's not something we haven't practiced. I mean, we had prepared that he may have to go in there as a quarterback, and you know, he's, you know, could play quarterback. You know, right now he's Greg's backup as a slot. You know, there's the possibility of maybe getting both those kids on the field together. You know, some brilliant journalists have suggested that in the past. So all those things are possibilities.
Did you feel, tell me about the timing of Kendall's first play where it looked like you may have had a score there. Did you see something on tape that, for the timing there for that particular play?
I mean, that's a play that we run all the time. I I mean, we run that play. You've seen Greg Dortch make that play how many times? It was a play that opened up a certain way, and you know, the ball was a little bit behind Kendall. I think he should have caught it, but that's just, we're just running our offense. It wasn't like, hey, we're going to put him in here and they're going to be in this, or we're going to run this play. And you know, that was, he was in there, we ran the offense, and that thing opened up.
Do you have any idea how Skiba's handling the internet fame over not being on the field?
Oh, I don't.
And then how does that factor into the kicking job? He also missed.
Nick Skiba is our kicker, and you know, he's a true freshman that thought we made a first down. So it wasn't like he wasn't as into the game as he should have been, but it was just one of those freshman mistakes that I'd be surprised if he ever makes it again.
And how's he handled the
I mean, you don't bring it up. I mean, there's no value in,
yeah.
So, I mean, move on. Hit the next kick.
How does Sam feel?
Well, I think Sam's learning that the level of competition has stepped up the last 2 weeks. You know, that you play BC and you play Notre Dame, and the margin of error gets a lot smaller, and you get hit more. And I mean, it's part of his growth and maturation. I mean, John Wolford went through it. Freshman quarterbacks are going to go through it. And, you know, it's important that we stay on him and he continues to grow. I mean, this is both a short-term and a long-term project. You know, and I mean, Sam didn't play well on Saturday. He probably had his worst game of the year. You know, a lot of the hits he took are not hits he should have taken. You know, that if he makes the right decision, he's not getting hit. So, you know, people can say, well, geez, it was the protection broke down. At times, you know, there's times he was throwing the ball, he just should have handed it off, and he wouldn't get hit then. So he'll learn from it, he'll grow from it. He's a competitor, but it's a true freshman. It's game 4, it's Notre Dame at home and a sold-out crowd and national TV, and you know, nobody's immune to it.
Is his physical health okay?
Yeah, he was at practice today and took every rep and ran around, and he's fine.
You said you liked some of the things that Jamie did on his feet, so really what would you see his role evolving to after he made his debut?
Well, I mean, Jamie played well, and you know, Sam got hit, and I mean, Jamie is very playable, and you know, so we'll just keep evaluating as we go forward. I mean, I wouldn't roll out at some point playing. You know, Sam's going to start this week, but I wouldn't roll out Jamie playing. We'll just see how it goes. But the thing is, Jamie went in there and threw an awful pick, and then after that pick, really settled down and played well. And did some good things with his feet and made some good decisions, and so that was great experience for him. It's really the first time he's ever played in a meaningful game. He played a little bit last year against Presbyterian at the end, but that was really his first meaningful snaps.
Are there any freshmen that you're looking at, I guess, looking at over a 4-game period? I know you got 5 that have played in every game so far.
Well, you know, I think clearly Sam and Skiba and Smenda and Nasir Greer are playing. But yes.
Bergen, too.
Who?
Bergen.
Deion's played in every game.
Yeah.
Yep. Kenneth Dix has played in 3 games. We still may only play him in 1 more, you know, but there's guys like Zion Keith and Rondell Bothroyd and Peyton Woolard that at some point, you know, we'd love to be able to save those 4 games for the last 4, just because at that point you start wearing down. But, you know, if you get banged up before that, you may have to use those games before. So, yes, I mean, there's a number of guys right now. We have 8 games left, and there's a number of freshmen we have that we would like to play them for 4 and not play them the other 4 so we can redshirt them.
About on the defensive line, you mentioned Rondell. Depth a concern there?
Not right now. You know, right now, that's why we're not playing them right now, is that, you know, Chris is healthy, Manny Walker is playing better. All 4 tackles are still healthy, and Boogie and Tyler Williams are healthy. So there's no reason to shoot the redshirt year of one of those guys. Or, you know, if you play them for 4 games, you want it to be a game they're going to play 25, 30 reps, not go in there for 3 or 4 plays at the end and have that count as a game.